Welcome to NEXTGames Sortie Series, Episode 11, Ideal Solo Starstone Farming Path. Now it's been over 2 months since the second part of Sortie was released, and in that time, I've worked on several ideal farming paths and have come up with 2 ideal paths that a soloer could take. One that focuses on Galumfree as the main goal, and the other that focuses on Starstones as your main goal. I find that Ninja works best on these runs, especially on the Starstone version of the runs, but it can be done with other jobs such as Red Mage and Blue Mage. Additional jobs may also be able to pull off portions of these runs, but they will not be able to complete the entire run due to time restraints. The Galumfree path will often net me 10,000 Galumfree and the chance at 10 Sapphires, 2 Starstones, and 12 Cases and Echondrites. Now, the run is very similar to the path that I show in Episode 8 and simply adds on many of the new caskets that have come out since this new version of Sortie has been released. That being said, though, that is not the path that I recommend most players take, as it's only netting you 2 chances at the Starstones, which I have found to be the rarest items in Sortie, and that cost you 90,000 Galumfree if you wish to purchase them outright. Therefore, I've taken to doing a different style of run the majority of the time this last month. A run that focuses on Starstones and gets you 4 to 6 attempts at them per run, but that will also normally only reward you with about half as much Galumfree as you would in the Galumfree run. Let's go ahead and look into what is involved in these Starstone farming runs that I'm talking about. Before we start, though, know that you will have to have unlocked Zones A through G in order to do this farming run. If you haven't done that yet, please follow my earlier guides in the series to learn how. Let's start with trust selection. Now, it's going to depend on what Unity affiliation you have. If you're with Yoran Oran, you want to add in Arkivi, Joachim, Monborough, and Korumoro. If you're affiliated with Sylvie, add in Arkivi, Monborough, Yignis, and Star Sybil. Now, after summoning Trust, head right for the starting diaphanous device, and then head for device A. Once there, quickly cast Shadows for chest A2 to appear, and then head right down the path to the diaphanous Bitzer A. And on the way, be sure to use a macro to quickly strip yourself naked of all weapons and armor before clicking on that device to get chest A5 to spawn. You then want to quickly use another macro to re-equip yourself, and then fully buff yourself before proceeding into Zone E. Once in Zone E, you want to quickly head forward and grab the 3 flans and kill them as quickly as you can. This is one of the trickier parts of the run. I like to use a job ability such as Provoke to try and get all 3 of them in one pull. Now, you only have 5 minutes to kill all 3 and get past the gate that is midway through Zone E. If you don't make it past the gate in time, your run will be a failure. Due to this, if you feel you're at risk of not finishing off all 3 in time, I suggest only killing 1 or 2 and then pulling the remaining behind the gate to kill. When taking on the flan, you want to use hybrid weapon skills if possible to skill chain. I use Blade 2 to Blade Chi to make a skill chain that I can use Rayton to dual magic burst off of. Once all 3 flan are dead and you're past the gate midway through Zone E, you now want to head to find the diaphanous Bitzer in this zone next. Now, about 50% of the time, it will be in the next section that you see here that contains slugs and slimes. If this Bitzer is in this square, then your chances at a Starstone just went down by 1, and you can only get 4 to 5 this run. Now, if this Bitzer is in the first square, you'll need to kill all 6 slugs and all 6 slimes to get casket E1 to spawn, and your first chance at a Starstone. The slugs are most easily dispatched with hybrid weapon skills once again, and then magic bursting with Rayton, and the slimes can also quickly be taken out with hybrid weapon skills, with your magic burst actually doing the majority of the damage, so make sure you keep those skill chains going so you can burst as much as possible on those slimes. Now, Arkiv is meant to help you out here with these mobs, as you don't need to worry about keeping Megawari up on slimes when your shadows drop, and you don't need to worry about being locked into your current gear set for 45 seconds when fighting the slugs. Once all 12 are dead, casket E1 will drop, giving you your first chance at a Starstone. Now, if that Blitzer wasn't in that first square of mobs, then it's going to be here with the 12 flan just further into the map. Now, this is also where you should head after killing the slimes and slugs if that Blitzer did happen to be in the first square. This is because to get our next Starstone casket to drop, we need to kill all 12 of these flans to get casket E2 to drop, and that will give us our second chance at a Starstone this run. Note that if the Bitzer was in this section, both caskets E1 and E2 will drop from the final flan once killed. Now once both caskets are acquired, head for the Bitzer and take it back to Zone A. If you only had to kill 15 flan on this floor, you can normally manage to get out with 35 to 40 minutes remaining. But if you had to kill 27 mobs consisting of slimes, flan, and slugs, you'll normally exit with only 20 to 25 minutes remaining at this point in the run. Next, we want to use Device A to get to Device B. Quickly give Device B a hooray to get chest B2 to spawn before heading on to Bitzer B. It will take you to Zone F. Now once in Zone F, your goals will be determined by what happened previously in Zone E. If you only had to kill 15 flan, you should have more than 30 minutes left and plenty of time to kill the 10 pixies in this zone. You will find 2 in the starting area just ahead of you, and then 8 more beyond the midway gate, which fortunately does not close after 5 minutes in this zone. Now make sure you take note of where the Bitzer is when you're running through this zone to kill these pixies so that you know where you need to head when you're done. Now the pixies' main annoyance will be the removal of buffs that occur during some of their abilities. Otherwise, they aren't overly challenging and should take around 20 minutes to take out, and it will reward you with casket F2 and our third chance at a Starstone. Now if you had to kill 27 mobs in that first zone, you more than likely will have less than 20 minutes remaining when you enter this zone, and that is where you will want to ignore this pixie part of the run and head right for the Bitzer. Now when you click on the Bitzer in Zone F, whether it's right heading there directly or after you kill the pixies, you want to make sure that you're wearing 5 pieces of your job's Empyrean armor to trigger casket F1 to spawn and a 4th chance at a Starstone. Once you've opened your caskets in the zone, take the Bitzer, and then you will be running towards Zone C through way of the gate to trigger casket B2. Now on your way, keep an eye out for the Kakemic Boot, as if he's close by, he's good for a quick 315 gallon free, and chest C5 for a total boost of 415 in only about 2 minutes. Now if the boot is not in that first area with the course, you should just ignore him, as hunting him down isn't worth your time. Next, head for the G Bitzer, and once taken, you want to make sure you're not in the yellow or red health, and then get sneak and invis up and start looking for the Zone G Bitzer. Once found, you need to target it with your cursor for 30 seconds to then get casket G1 to appear, which will be your 4th and normally final chance at a Starstone. Now sometimes Blitzers can spawn around the Doulahan mobs, which will aggro you when invisible is dropped, so use caution when opening this casket and then using the Blitzer right after it. Next, use Device C to get to Device D and quickly drop your Obsidian Wing for chest D2 to appear. Now, the amount of time that you have left in your run at this point will depend on if you took on the Pixies or the Slimes and Flan, but you should have roughly 10 to 15 minutes left at this point. This is enough time for you to do a few things. First, if you are lucky enough to have Zone H unlocked, which is done through killing all of the Falmer on the map in a single run, then you can head to Zone H and run through the entire Zone H to find the Bitzer and then take it. Once taken, you then want to re-enter Zone H, which will spawn casket H1 in your 6th chance at a Starstone. Now sadly, most people, including me, won't have this Zone H unlocked if you're a solo player. So instead of this, I recommend you now head back to the starting device and then head north. The Abject Abdella will always be present in this section at this point in the run. Grab it and kill it for coffer A to spawn, and then head past the gate for chest A1, and then rest just past the gate for casket A2. Now head just past the gate and quickly dispatch with 6 leeches, making sure to finish them off with magic damage. Normally, this just requires a 2-step skill chain with magic burst. Once the 3 chests that spawn, which includes chest A3, A4, and casket A1 are all opened, you then, with your remaining time, want to head for that Gajot NM to take him on for a nice 2,000 gallon free boost. Now I can normally take him out in about 3 to 4 minutes these days, which makes it so my run normally ends here with about 1 to 5 minutes remaining. And that's the full run. I've been completing this run for about a month now and find it much more consistent than the Gallon-free runs, which rely heavily on a lot of running around to find NMs, which can make the total gain substantially different from run to run. Now, I normally net 1 to 2 Starstones per week with this strategy, and at this point have several waiting for Gallon-free, so I'll be switching back to my Gallon-free farming runs. I'll release a video in the future showing the exact path for the 10,000 Gallon-free farming run, as I'm sure some will be ready to switch back to those after a month or so of these Starstone farming runs. That's going to be it for this episode in the Sortie series. I hope you found that helpful. If this is your first visit to my channel and you enjoyed the content, please be sure to click the subscribe button under the video and the bell icon next to it to be notified when my future videos are released. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Good luck out there. Stay safe and stay healthy.